Hello everyone, welcome to Cookies Enabled. I am Will, your host, and next to me here you will see I have two people, not just Andrew. I have a special guest today, Kelton, who is here to share a awesome story with us today and a bunch of his backstory, which is really going to dive into cancer today, which is our main topic. We do some memes and some funny stuff at the end, but not a lot of space news, not a lot of tech news this week, so we changed it up on you. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode today. Let me jump back over to Andrew here. How's looking pretty good. I think we got our camera and everything set up for the most part. And yeah, I can you guys
I
okay.
can't see your image yet. I don't know why, but I'm sure it'll come back up
Right.
in a moment.
There we go. Let me see.
We'll see what happens. Otherwise, we should be all set. Tiny bit of SpaceX news. They are, looks like, getting ready for a test of Starship.
Okay.
Booster number 4, Starship 20. They did a pressurization test.
Ooh,
Some of the heat tiles did actually fall off of it, which
it's dangerous.
they kind of expected. They've been figuring out how to have those actually adhered to the fuselage. The issue is you need to have some gaps for expansion because they will undergo a lot of heat. There's the fact that they call water thawing, where some of the ionized plasma, as they reach through the Earth's atmosphere, kind of can cool in areas and heat things up. So they're working on some different designs for those and how to replace them. But they're getting closer, and I think we're not that far off from a final orbital launch. It's got to be within the next few weeks.
We've got to be really close to that. I mean, they've pretty much got everything set up. I mean, right now it's probably just fine testing and tuning everything, making sure they've dotted all their I's and crossed their T's everywhere, you know, because you don't want to screw something that big up.
They are also waiting for the FAA to clear the launch, just because of how big a launch it's going to be. You know, we're talking 29 Raptor engines, I think, instead of the average 6 they've been using, which is a little up there. So a lot of noise. They have to shut down the highways. It takes a lot, but we're getting closer. We'll see. They haven't had much else going on right now, but like we've seen in previous weeks, we have a lull, and then they surprise us with
Exactly.
So we'll be up soon.
I'm sure we're gonna have like the next couple of weeks and or month, we're probably gonna have a ton more SpaceX news as things expand and they start launching all these awesome new rockets and crap. I'm super excited about.
But yeah, going on to our main topic for the day. We are introducing a new member to the team. This is Kelton. He is the son of a family friend. He's worked me before. He's working with me again. And we're going to bring him on as a partial editor soon as we start training him on how to use Adobe Premiere, which I'm excited. But he has a very interesting past. Childhood cancer, childhood leukemia, I believe it was. So basically walk us through what happened. What was...
Well, so it honestly kind of came out of nowhere. It was pretty much any normal other day. About a few days before we were gonna go to Mackinac later that week.
Now, how old were you?
I was 9 years old when this happened, and I started to get a weird like random leg pain that just came out of nowhere. It was completely random. Or no, this was after we got back from Mackinac. Completely random. My mom thought it was because we were doing so much walking around and whatnot.
Muscle strain or something simple.
But, yeah. But I started crying because the pain hurt so bad. So she tried to help me all through the night, and I couldn't sleep because it hurt so bad. And so finally was deciding that she was going to take me to go get a blood draw. Well, later that day, this all happened in a day. Later that day, our doctor calls us back and says either he has a rare disease or he has cancer. And so literally that day, we packed up for about, clothes for about a week, and we went to the hospital for a week.
Gotcha.
Is that local?
No, it was about 3 hours away.
Did you go to U of M?
No, I went to
also a good one, yeah.
Oh, okay. in Grand
Hmm.
Rapids, where Will's from, the DeVos
Yep.
Children's Hospital.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
That's a good one.
For sure, though.
It, yeah, I can't imagine what it was like growing up. And like with that, what were your first thoughts when they told you, or how did they even explain that?
Well, I understood that, like, of course, I was young. I understood that I was clearly
Right.
sick. Something was wrong. But they pretty much said something's wrong. You're gonna have to go through this treatment. It's gonna take
Right.
a while. And they just tried to explain it to me the best they could. You know, I was
Right.
a child. They were trying to explain to a child what cancer was. Which all I knew at the time was, oh no, they're really sick, not really understanding how
Right.
bad it could be. But you know, as I got to grow up through it, I understood the level of the situation and what it was. But thankfully, we got it
Yep,
really
that's
early.
good. That's a key,
And,
especially for cancer. Yep, you definitely got to cut it early.
yeah, it was stage 1, early stages. So we weren't really in. I wasn't in that big of a risk, and they could take their time to figure out what they were gonna do.
What
I
treatment
was
did you
just
go
gonna
through?
ask that.
I don't think I never got a
Okay.
treatment name, but it was this I don't know. It was
Radiation, chemotherapy.
Oh well,
that
yeah.
sort
I went through some normal standard of
Right.
course chemotherapy. About 2 years in, because this was a 3 month process. About 2 years in, I went and had once I was stable enough, I went and had cranial radiation.
Okay.
And then they also had me on a
of
bunch
cranial. Where was the cancer centered then?
of my cancer it's actually
Okay.
blood driven. So it's what it does is it goes in and it completely wipes out all your
Right.
white blood cells and your plasma way down.
It was
And
in your blood,
Right.
not necessarily
yeah,
like
it was
a
not.
tumor in a
It's
certain
yeah,
location.
it's not like a tumor specific
Okay.
part. It's the whole body, all of your blood and whatnot. It destroys your white blood cells and keeps you extremely immune or not immune
Right.
to other diseases, which could come and kill you after.
Especially in a year
Oh,
like
right.
this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if I had it then, now it would be crazy.
Will knows a thing or two about a
I do,
suppressed immune system.
unfortunately. Yes, I've been living with one for quite some time. I had my viral infection back in 2003, I think is what it was. 2003, 2004. I was like deathly ill in the hospital.
It would have been later. I knew you.
Oh no,
That
no, I'm
would have
sorry.
been
Yeah, it was
2000.
2013 actually. 2013,
It was later.
2014. I think I'm 10 years off there.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
for a little
yeah, I was in a coma for a while. They did have, they actually had to send my blood work off to Mayo Clinic out in Minnesota to fully figure out what the heck was going on with me. Because they just couldn't figure it out. It was very weird that I was always on the verge of death, and either one day it was either my lungs that were giving out, or my liver, or my kidneys, or something. So my body was overworking, trying to prevent itself from dying, essentially, and it was doing an okay job, and they were trying to sustain me. So in my case, it ended up being cytomegalovirus, which most people get as a kid. Feels like you got the flu for a couple of days and you get over it. Most people don't need medication. And in my case, I have a lazy immune system, especially when it comes to viral infections. With bacteria, they seem to attack no problem, but you have leader T cells in your body, and those leaders are the ones that tell the rest of the body what to attack. So if those leader cells aren't attacking a bad entity like a virus in your bloodstream, then that virus can just go unchecked. And that's exactly what happened. There was actually more virus in my blood than there actually blood. So they didn't even know how I was still alive. But what they did figure it out, and they were able to get me the antiretrovirals to get me back to normal, which was a long, tedious process. Now, I'm sure you had to go through quite a bit of, like you said, chemotherapy, radiation treatments and stuff. And you said that they didn't give you specifics, and I'm not too surprised because you were probably really young. So giving you a bunch of numbers and statistics and big words, I mean, what's that going to do, right? I mean, that's probably not going to help, it's just going to make it seem scarier probably. And that's not something you want to go through,
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was a lot of scary stuff, of course. Like, there was this one medicine that was actually pretty scary. I don't know if you know, but it is a medicine called pegspiritinase.
Okay.
Which is the one I mainly remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. It's spelling horrible. Don't even get me on that. But it is a faster route of treatment, but most kids have an allergic reaction to it.
Right.
Of course, I was one of the, well, I really wasn't unlucky because most kids are allergic to it. But I remember they were doing it, and they had to have a nurse there with me because, it's an allergic reaction. Yeah. But I remember I had an allergic reaction, and I was like, everything is feeling real itchy, and something just doesn't feel right. My mom looked at me, and I had hives head to toe.
Now my
Yes.
was a nurse, so from the first minute, anything happening, she knows that's why she would go for a blood draw she knows what's up. So imagine.
But and so after I started to feel like my like the inside of my throat was swelling up, and it started to feel like that, and like other things were swelling up. And so next thing I know, my mom and the other nurse call for nurses, and there's like 6 nurses. Yeah, there was like 6 nurses around me. It was crazy. And they literally just grabbed my IV and just Benadryl, pretty much.
I mean, what can they do?
It's just the Benadryl. It stopped the reaction, which thank God it did. But in the process, it also like completely knocked me out, and I woke up a couple hours later.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, there was those antiretrovirals. The #1 side effect actually was intense and irregular irritation, I think is how they phrased it or something like that, which I had to ask what that meant because that doesn't really specify what I'm going to expect, And essentially what that means is that they start this IV and Addie leaves the room and you turn the TV off and you just sit there because literally everything will make you insanely crazy and you'll just be so mad at life and everything and everyone for no reason at all. And I didn't believe it because, I'm a pretty nice guy, I feel. I'm not out to get anybody. But, oh my goodness, yeah, as soon as that IV kicked in, I just raged. I hate this commercial. I hate this show. Blah, 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 blah. And it would be like that for about almost 2 straight hours until you started feeling a little bit more normal. Then your body's kind of flushing out those antiretrovirals. But that was a doozy. And even the over-the-counter pill medication I had to take still kind of had this, aggravated irritation where you were just grumpy all the time for literally no reason. Nothing that would normally bug you, and now just is your worst nightmare kind of situation. And that was a huge one for me to deal with, and they didn't really prepare me for that very well, unfortunately. So that was kind of a coping mechanism for me. It was trying to deal with myself. And I always had everybody leave the room. I'm going to take my meds. Leave me alone for an hour, And I'll come back to you when it's safe kind of thing, So I have a feeling yours was kind of similar in a few situations, maybe not to that extent, but yeah.
Well, to me, it seems it's got to be very different dealing with those emotions from the drugs as an adult, where you were aware, but being 9 years old going through that,
you don't know.
Exactly. I cannot even imagine. How long was your treatment plan?
It was 3 years, 3
That's
months,
a long one.
and 3 days.
3 years, 3 days.
Yeah, really.
And as you've told me multiple times, with a good sense of humor about it, which we'll get to in a little bit, but you were a Make-A-Wish recipient as well.
Oh yeah, they kind of just are like they kind of contacted us when I was somewhat stable, and we're like, hey, your child is eligible for Make-A-Wish because you're a young child with childhood cancer. And so they were like, you pretty much get to choose where you want to go and what you want to do in the United States because
all expenses paid. Basically.
Yeah, all expenses paid, everything, extra cash to go
fun.
do whatever.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
They
I can't imagine you.
Oh no, they do God's work. It's amazing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember because I've always wanted to go, but we're kind of middle lower class, so we always have the money to go travel, and I have 3 other siblings, and so it'd be expensive as hell to not only travel all the way down there,
but get everybody there.
Disney itself.
Yeah, that's no easy feat.
Yeah, and of course I was a classic 9-year-old, and everybody was all the hype and oh my god, Disney. So of course I chose to go to which it was pretty standard. But so they put us in this Make-A-Wish village, where it is a whole it's a literal village with a bunch of houses all over.
Right.
And we got to stay there for free and whatnot.
Sure.
And it was probably like a 10-minute drive to Disney. It was like right outside of Disney.
Wow.
So they have, I'm assuming because that's such a popular
They
destination,
pretty much had a living place.
they bought a few houses or property.
Oh, they
just
bought.
so-
Oh, it was like they bought a shit ton of property.
Wow.
It was a whole walled-in village
That's really cool.
Yeah. where like they had a gate and everything, and it was a place where Make-A-Wish kids and cancer children would stay on their
So
Make-A-Wish
that they
trip.
could go,
So they could
and they're
go
like the whole family.
the
Right.
whole family. Yep,
Wow.
I bring my mom, dad, my siblings. I even brought my grandma.
I mean, that's why not do it.
You were going through.
Oh well.
How much of a boost was that experience?
I was fucking.
Like, was it in the back of your head of, I'm here because I have cancer, or were you able
Well,
to
I-
forget about it for a few days?
Well, I was at the point where I was like 10 or 12-ish.
Okay.
Because
near the end of your treatment.
a little bit, yeah. But I like knew I was here because I had childhood cancer, but
Mhm.
I didn't really care because I got to go to Disney.
Right.
So, but yeah, they also allowed us to go to SeaWorld and Animal Kingdom as well.
Wow.
which was-
Nice.
Yeah,
Triple win.
really. we got Fast Pass.
Nice.
For everything. Like we could skip all the lines and whatnot, because Make-A-Wish does God's work and has in touch with Disney workers and whatnot, and can get stuff like that. Full
No.
expense paid. They gave us extra money to go do stuff around in the park.
Oh yeah.
We stayed there all day, and then they went to SeaWorld, which I've been to SeaWorld a few times, but I love aquatic life and I love to go see
Sure,
that kind
sure.
of stuff. And so we decided to also go to SeaWorld, and then Animal Kingdom was also actually really fun to go sit down
Is
and
that where they have that giant, like the created tree of life, the large?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's all the Disney stuff. That's like animal, like Simba, and
Okay.
which on that we got to go see a Simba thing where they like
Oh, you told me about that.
they sing like a cantata and
Oh, that's
whatnot.
awesome.
And my mom went and talked to one of the workers, and I got to go down on the main like ring floor and go dance with the people in the
That's
show.
awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
Now
so
that
cool.
sort of thing, being a child going through that, obviously, the Make-A-Wish definitely had to have been a boost to you. Morale. But if I may, if you can remember, what was your like day-to-day like mental health throughout all of this
Right.
at that young? I
That's a
can
fair
only imagine how difficult. it is.
I actually, I'd say 6 months into it, I actually got put on anxiety and antidepressant
Gotcha.
pills because of it.
Understand.
Because my mom noticed a drastic
Right.
change. And they went in and evaluated me, and they said, "Yeah, he's all good for this. I think he should take it." And so I was on that for a good while. And so yeah, I was on that for a good while because it was affecting my whole around mood. But my morale was pretty good through the whole thing, just because everyone was so supportive
Right,
about
right.
it.
Having support is definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, it's
Very
a
important.
Yeah, I definitely I had to give some kudos to my
that's-
family too because they filled the waiting room and crap.
How does that change your outlook? I sense that. I mean, you're going to
Right,
be 17. What's your view on all of that?
Again, I was young, so there's some few dodgy parts that I don't really remember much, and I was young, so all of it can kind of blend together like that. But
Some of it could have been your mind just shutting
Right.
down.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, oh yeah, no. I guess it's just like don't really stuff like that can happen any day, and just like I guess keep watch for
Right.
your health. Like if something strange, like your leg brain starts hurting to the point where you cry, go get it checked out or
Mhm.
something. But yeah, I guess I just.
You seem to have a good temperament these days. For
Oh,
everybody
right.
out there, I've talked about that before, and lots of jokes, lots of making light of it.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, humor is needed
Absolutely.
to
It
get
is.
through that. Not necessarily the mechanism,
Mhm.
but just as moving past it and accepting that that was part of your life. And I mean, you're clear
Right.
now.
Oh yeah, but I did use
So
it.
is it technically cancer free, or is it in remission, or how do they describe it for you today?
Well, currently I'm cancer free, but I'm going to be in remission for pretty much the rest
Right.
of my life. I think now,
Do you get tests really, I'm assuming?
yeah.
Every
So
6
now
months, year.
it's either I go back every year, or it's gonna turn in because I had it so young and I don't really have too high of a chance of getting it again. But of course, I have a higher chance. I have to go back and get blood draws every 5 years. But my mom, of course, because she's a nurse, can take me in and go get blood draws anytime she feels like it. I probably honestly do it. Like, um, but but yeah, I have to go back every 5 years just so they can check and make sure that I don't have it again. And if I do, then we'll have to do something or whatever it is to do it all
Right.
over again. But
So what's your mindset there? If they
I
told you you had it again,
guess I just
you've been
I
through
don't
it
really-
before,
yeah,
do it again.
I've been through it. I know what to do. I think I could go through it again. But like I understand. I was healthy then when I
Right.
first got it. If I'm not and shit again, I guess I just have to accept it for what it is because like I had my shot and they're all trying to do the best they can. But yeah, I don't think it will be too bad if I get it again, especially because I know the signs and I could probably most likely catch
Right.
it. Or,
And you already
but-
kind of know what to
Catch it,
deal with,
right.
like side effect wise, medication wise, treatment wise. It's not an unfamiliar territory for you, you know, so that should help.
yeah, it wouldn't be fun, but at least I'm
Right,
not
right.
dying.
And you know what to expect.
Yeah, you know what to expect. You're not a small 9-year-old
Exactly.
that doesn't understand why you feel like garbage. all
Right,
the
right,
time.
right.
That's the hardest part. It's like, how do you explain to a kid what's happening, or how do they not when they don't know
Yeah.
what's happening?
Right, but yeah, it kind of sucks. You feel like you feel like garbage because I don't even think it's the cancer that feels like the worst part. You kind of have it once you catch it early. You just know it's there, but it's not really affecting you. It's the chemotherapy that really
Exactly.
does
Yeah.
The treatment-
You lost all your hair at one point,
it. Yeah,
pretty much.
no. Once they started my treatment, so like after the first week, they evaluated me and figured he's not in poor
Right.
condition. He has it, but he's okay. So they sent me back home, and I was isolated. Like I couldn't leave or go
Right.
anywhere for like 3 months while they made a plan and that stuff with the
Because of your,
hospital and insurance.
Mhm.
And,
Your immune system not being
yeah, I couldn't leave because my white blood cell count
So
was
low.
like in the
Yeah.
garbage.
Now a story from that he had told me, which I just had to remember, was going one day and going, I think to your mom or whatever. Hey mom, look what I can do, and just pulling out.
Oh
some hair.
no. Oh
So,
goodness no.
Later,
Look what I could do.
they started me on it, and so of course I was gonna start
Right.
losing my hair, and kind of just went back and forth
Right.
at first, just so they could see what my body was
Sure,
reacting
sure.
to it, and yeah, and then at one point I literally started to be able to pull out my hair, like
Right.
just in
Oh
clumps.
man.
So me and my dad decided, screw it, it's all going anyway. Let's
Right.
just shave
Might as
it.
well, right?
So
After the live chat, if you're cool with it, we'll have to put a photo of you with the no hair.
I
in
have
the comments.
I have a photo, I'm pretty sure. So
I'll have him send it to me. We'll put it in the comments, everybody, just so you
Right.
can see it. I mean, again, this is a very serious subject, but being able to look back at it with a
Right.
sense of humor,
It's-
I think is
It is
extremely
very important.
Yeah,
A
I
huge
think it's
deal.
probably
Yeah.
very you. So yeah, we'll share it. And if anything, it can be some sort of advocacy for everybody else that might be going
Right.
through this.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a support structure, I mean, it was what, half your life ago,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
doing okay. It's
Yeah.
it's not the end of your life.
no, I'm perfectly fine. And some people do come out with side effects
Right.
with it, like especially very, very young children when they're still heavily
Yeah.
developing.
Or even mental.
Oh well, yeah,
Sure.
of course. But they can come out with some side effects. But thankfully, I didn't come out with any like horrible body changing side
Right.
effects.
Here's
Yeah.
back.
Hair's back, obviously. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't come out, and so I was one of the more fortunate ones. But
That's good though.
Again, everybody, we're not at all.
No. No.
Again, these are the sort of things you, like I said, a sense of humor or being able to look at it in some sort of lighthearted way, I think can help people cope. It might not be the best for
Hmm.
everybody, but we're obviously not trying to make
No.
fun of anybody that's been
No, this
through
is
this.
definitely not fun
Um,
or funny. I mean, yeah, this is just serious,
my
serious
mother,
topics.
grandmother, cancer, my grandmother-in-law had
Hmm.
cancer. My mother-in-law did. It's everybody is affected
Hmm.
by this. So we're just trying to bring a story of one person's journey
Right.
through that and what has come from all of
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
is all. Will, did you have
I had a
questions?
couple, but you guys, we pretty much knocked them out as we've just been talking through things. Now, there was one question I did have for you. Was there any specific treatments that they want to do, or maybe medications, whatever, that you're just like, heck no, or I need to know more information, or maybe you just didn't feel right about a certain procedure, and kind of what got you over that? I guess is the question for you.
Well, of course, I was a child, so I didn't really honestly have much
Right.
say in what happened. It was more of my parents because they were my legal
Exactly.
guardians. Well, they are my guardians, and I'm a small child that can't really conceive what the
Right.
hell is happening.
Your mom being a nurse, I'm sure
Yeah.
helped with
Yeah,
a lot of that decision.
my mom just starting nursing school
Oh, really?
when I got it. She was just starting nursing school, and so she was on the brink of considering to
Right.
drop it because she, had to watch her child with cancer in the hospital. But thankfully, she decided to actually go
Okay.
through with it, and go through school. So she kind of understood what was
Right.
happening, but fully was trusted with the medicine because this medicine has been around
Right.
forever.
Well, your mom's smart.
She's
Definitely
also
get
smart.
that.
But yeah, the medicine's been around for years, and hundreds and thousands of
Yeah.
children have gone through this and are perfectly fine.
Yep. Yep. And that's a good one. I mean, I had a couple of tests they wanted to run. One of them had a chance of giving me sepsis of about 60% chance, which I was like, I just got over all of this. I don't want to be sick in the hospital for another 3 months, just because you have to run some tests or whatever. But I
Well,
convinced the Mayo Clinic doctors to go over step by step what they were going to do in the operating room, so the way I could come out okay. And of course, Mayo Clinic's one of the best hospitals in the U.S. So of course, if anybody's going to do it, I want them to do it because they're not going to screw it up. And if they do, at least I got really awesome guys around me to fix it. So luckily, I did not end up with sepsis. Everything did go well, and the test ended up being negative. They did not need to do it. I was actually kind of pissed. They made me go through all of that, and then they didn't end up getting any new information out of it. So I was kind of mad. But again, staying positive was a huge part about it because there's so much outside of your control in the medical realm, and you can't get mad at your nurse or doctors because they only have so much treatment or they only have so much to explain or whatever the situation is. So just trying to let things roll off you and I guess move on, just kind of okay, where do we go from here, what's next thing. And it sounds like that was pretty much the same mentality for you of just marching ahead, not really giving up, which is key because that's especially when you're a kid. I mean, I can only imagine.
yeah, when you're a kid, you just gotta kind of truck through it and
Right.
hope everything ends up well. But of course, they try to comfort you in as many ways as they possibly can. They'll bring you stuff if you need it.
Sure.
So, what's your attitude towards it these days? Like, from a mental health aspect, it seems like you're pretty stable.
Yeah,
I'm sure you probably have your days once in a while.
oh well,
Right.
of course
Who
everyone
doesn't?
does. But my mental state after was still pretty damaged just because of all the stuff I went through.
Right.
Because I started at the age of 9 and through till the age of 13, and that was only 3 years ago.
Right.
What was that like at school throughout all that?
That's a good question
It
too.
was interesting. Um, I of course.
Again, anything we're asking if you don't feel comfortable
Yeah,
answering.
you
Oh
don't
no,
have to.
I'm pretty much completely comfortable answering almost everything. But at school, yeah, I had of course a lot of friends that were supportive along the way, and understood that this is serious. He doesn't look well
Right.
because I didn't look well the whole way through. 'Cause I can't do. But
You show up and your hair is gone.
yeah,
Something's
Yeah, obviously
off.
something's
and so
not
a
right.
bunch of people, yeah, a bunch of my friends had a bunch of questions and whatnot, and I
Sure.
answered them and blah blah. But I don't really remember much about, especially fourth grade, because that's mainly when I was doing it.
Okay.
Because I actually quite literally slept through a lot of fourth grade.
Right.
Um, because traveling in the car back and forth
Yeah.
drained me.
Okay.
And I remember nights in the hospital.
Brains, of
Oh
course.
yeah, which absolutely drained
Right,
me. And
right.
I remember nights in the hospital where they put me on this one chemo, and they had to take my blood pressure every hour, and I didn't sleep for like 2 entire days.
Yep. Because they're always in there poking on and prodding you and testing. I've been there.
So I slept through a lot of 4th grade, but thankfully they let me go through.
That's good.
Yeah, and I just kept trucking through treatments, and eventually I felt better enough, like good enough, where I could come back to school part time. But I have to miss days because I have to go back and go get more stuff done.
Right, right.
He's doing good these days too, everybody. He's pulling all A's.
Hooray!
He did have to deal with his mother, and I know his mother. She would not go for that. She in the Navy and nurse.
She was in the Navy when she was I think she was 17 when she went in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then my mom and dad met in while they were both stationed at Pearl Harbor, and then received me, and then moved out here because my family lives out here.
Right.
So
yeah, his mother's a very good family friend. My sister-in-law, they're like besties. So that's how we got him roped into working for me
Awesome.
at my previous job, and that's how I brought him over to our current job. He's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
We're really happy to have him here. For anybody like any parents out there or any kids who are watching or will watch this,
Yeah.
if they're for that sort of thing, what advice would you have for them, or what could you tell them maybe to make it easier?
I just try to keep the best mental state there is, and if something goes wrong, just know the doctors really are trying their best they can. Because I remember this one kid where I actually met with this kid's parents, where he was a few rooms down.
At DeVos?
Yeah, at DeVos, and I was about a year and a half into my treatment, so I kind of understood what was going on.
Right.
And they didn't know. They were to this. They didn't know, and wanted to know what their kid was going through.
How long have you been going through this process?
About a year and a half, and I was actually administered in the hospital, so I was there for. This is the one part I really don't remember. I'd say maybe over 6 months, but not a year.
Okay.
I was in the hospital.
You had had enough experience at this point. You knew what was happening.
Right.
Yeah. So
had no clue.
Yeah, and so we went and met in an open room because there wasn't very many people walking around the halls except for nurses.
Right.
And so we just went and I talked to him and explained to him, and not the poor child ended up getting his port, which is a thing they put in your chest, which makes you a direct blood vein.
Yep.
That's for administrating
the chemotherapy, so it can immediately go for one of the main blood vessels.
No, you had one of those, right?
Yeah, I had one of those. I had a scarf.
I had a PICC line as well, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. The poor kid had 2 port infections.
Man.
So he had to get it removed twice and had it healed twice, and then had it put in. So it was pretty rough. Well, in other words, after I talked to him not too long, about a year.
You still stay in
That's
contact with them?
Yeah. Because I go to a Make-A-Wish camp every year.
Okay. So tell us about that then. What's that like? That sounds really
it's called Camp Quality, I'm pretty sure. And it's literally a camp for a bunch of cancer kids, and or past cancer kids as well. And until you're 17, you can go, and then what it is you get a one-on-one counselor. So you have like a buddy that's with you for the whole week you're there.
That's cool.
And have you been doing this every year since?
Yeah, we couldn't do it last year because
obviously,
obviously COVID and a bunch of
you don't want a bunch of people with compromise together during pandemic.
That's my point. Yeah, that's not an okay situation. But yeah, I actually this for like the first 2 years I got counselors that were okay. I didn't really like, and I think about 2-3 years ago, this was probably my 3rd time, gone like 5 times or maybe 2nd time. I got this counselor named John. and he actually had like a brain tumor. And they had to they actually cut
Oh
like
wow.
part of his brain and take it out. And they actually couldn't take all of it out, so he has like epilepsy and stuff like that. He has to
Right.
take meds for that. And so he was my one-on-one counselor, and I really liked this dude. He was really fun to be around. He had a funny sense of humor. He was amazing. And so for like for the next 2 or 3 years that I was there until last year when I couldn't go, I asked him again and again to
Right.
be my counselor again. So we all came back after a year, back to the camp and hang out with each other for a while. And I even at one point went down to where he lived, which is of course still Michigan, but and actually hung out with him outside.
That's awesome.
Now, would you want to be a counselor there at some point?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That would be really cool.
Just because they're a non-profit organization, like completely non-profit.
We'll find the links for.
Oh yeah, I've got the Make-A-Wish camp.
Great.
I've got it right up on the screen right now.
Donate.
And is one of the head organizers for the money and how everything's gonna go. And so
that is
find
super
that
cool.
Yeah, and so you can probably find all that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna post a bunch of links. Don't worry.
You guys can see about that.
Yeah, they're completely non-profit, and we have a bunch of games and stuff. Like I remember they moved location like 2 years ago, but at the old location, you had they had a schedule and whatnot for kids to go around, and you could build a like a rocket, like one of those rockets that you put on the little thing with the fuse, and they actually launch off. So for a few years, kids were able to do that, and then the last 2 years they brought in archery tag, where you're in the small arena with some cover.
I've seen the
bows with the
like game bags or foam at the end.
Yeah. And those were really fun. But they have all sorts of activities planned, like a whole infected game that we played throughout the whole campus, and it's
cool.
really fun.
So it kind of takes all these kids, takes their mind off of what's going on.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
But they also talk to others that have been through what they've been through.
Yeah, so they can kind of relate and actually fit in.
And answer and ask questions, too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Of course, there's many counselors there that were once campers and came back be counselors, because they at one point also had cancer and they were doctors. So it's really cool.
I think you were at the end very fortunate to have come through it as like unscathed as you did.
No, absolutely.
There's a lot of cases out there they don't recover, which is horrible.
I also saw at a young age, just at the Make-A-Wish. What they did was they had these little mini events like Christmas and Halloween for the kids that wouldn't make it to Christmas, which was really sad to see. But I went through and they were giving presents to some of the kids, and you got to go like choose from a rack, and it was super cool. And then they had Halloween and giving out candy and stuff, and they Make-A-Wish and all those people just do absolute God's work. It's insane what they can do, and it's just amazing.
It is. It's amazing how they do it.
Sounds like it. And you go through all this with a good mindset. He's a good kid. He's a good worker.
Well, as far as you can tell. No, I'm totally kidding. No, this has been an amazing story for sure. I mean, I think we've really stretched.
Thank you very much for coming out. You'll probably see more of him. We're set up soon with Adobe Premiere, which I do my editing from. He's going to be helping out with some of the final, images.
Special effects and stuff.
Transitions, like that. I'm going to be offloading all of the final rendering to his computer, because a game PC does a lot better than a 2015 MacBook. Mac Mini.
Yeah, maybe.
What it'll take me to render.
Yeah, probably.
And then we'll get. He is the third person to join the Cookies Enable team. We're excited to have him on. We'll bring him on for something
Oh
else,
yeah,
sure, at some point. Maybe live
definitely.
chats as we grow. Speaking of growing, um, we broke a
We did
milestone,
hit
didn't we, Will?
1,015 views this week. I want to say thank you to a lot of my friends and family members that decided to jump onto the page and give us a big boost because that was huge. We only needed like 54 to 1,000. They almost doubled that number in one night. We also gained a bunch of subscribers. So hello to all those new subscribers. Hope this newer twist on a What's New Wednesdays will be well received because we've never tried anything like this before. We've talked about having 3 guests and
We're
special guests and stuff. So.
all of our friends. We're getting more views and subscribers. You're up to 1,022,
Oh, look
by
at
the way.
that. So we jumped even more. I love it. I love it. And I got to say thank you for everybody for doing that because that's so awesome. I mean, it had been a real slow week up to that point. All of a sudden, all my graphs are giant spikes now. So I love that because that looks good. And it'll definitely help our YouTube algorithm as well since it's been a little lacking lately and has not really been doing its part because we just haven't had enough attention on our site. But now I think this is definitely going to help get us that kick that we need. So I really want to say thank you to everybody there because that is very helpful. Honestly, huge thank you there. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our current stuff as well.
To round it off, you had
Yes,
a
we
meme
had
and
2
I had a
memes to
meme.
share today just to kind of round off the day. I'm going to share yours first here. This one, I love this photo. So this is Mario and Thanos. I always say his name wrong. I don't know why.
For context, for any people that aren't aware, Nintendo just had a press release, like an event or something.
Yeah.
They are doing. I think it's actually going to be animated. It doesn't look
Yeah,
like
I don't think it's live action.
But there'll be a new Mario.
I thought it was going to be like Sonic. It's not, I guess, going to be more animated to look realistic, and that's fine, like Resident Evil did. So that's fine.
We have Charlie Day from Always Sunny. He's Luigi.
Perfect.
And I think Jack Black's
Bowser.
Gonna be
Yeah.
Bowser or something like that. It's interesting,
awesome.
But meme, it's Chris Pratt as Mario. Look at Thanos / Bowser, whatever. Where's Peach instead of where's
Oh my gosh, I love this one. I just love the face and his like fake little mustache that they put on is just so hilarious.
Yeah. I don't want Gamora. Where's Gamora? Instead of it's where's Peach. I loved it. I'm excited to see Chris
I am too.
Pratt
I think
next,
this is
so
good.
That is my main. I think it'll be Charlie Day as Luigi. Charlie Day is the most adorable
Yeah, he's
man
pretty
alive.
hilarious. So this is definitely going to be something interesting to see.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm super excited.
I mean,
and Nintendo's not going to screw up 2 movies. I was going to say, screwed up the first one really bad. I doubt they're going to screw this one up. They can't afford to.
Oh God. If anybody there has not seen the original, like 1980s
Pretty sure it's
Mario
on Hulu.
Brothers movie, so
it is hilariously bad. I mean, it's like bad Muppets.
To gross bleaching.
Now I have a meme as well, and this one's a little different. This one, I took from one of my friends' pages here. This one is R2-D2 Cowboy Bebop, and I absolutely love this. I've been feeling like crap the last couple of days. I'm pretty sure I got a sinus infection, and that made me laugh my ass off. That was so funny. I think I could just hear him say like boop 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 boop, like cowboy bebopping like down the, because it's just something he would do to irritate everybody in the room. Like,
oh, Dylan, you're a kid. You're like, hey, what are your thoughts on the live-action Cowboy Bebop?
I haven't actually seen that.
Well,
wow.
I heard some people are really looking forward to it. Some people aren't. I don't know. Said it's not going to
I don't know
follow
how
the
to
anime.
feel about it.
The visuals look really good.
Right.
Not really sure. But drop a comment. Let us know
Seriously,
what you guys
yes,
think of
please do.
And I think that's it for the week. We got our first full episode coming in Monday.
History of the phone.
I've got that fully edited, and a day or two I'm going to have that polished up, and we'll have it ready to go on Monday. And 2 weeks after that, we'll be doing.
Oh yeah, keep an eye on those main episodes.
Yeah. Every other episodes, I'll have Discovery.
Yep, that's right. I forgot about that.
I think we'll get a few. So we're back to full time, and we're excited. And
oh yes.
He's going
Oh
to get to do
yes.
some work soon once I take him out of YouTube.
It's definitely exciting news because
Well, thank you, Kelvin, for sharing your story.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting. It was a different
it was,
angle for
and I
us.
liked it. I think this was good. Hopefully you guys liked it too. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Or in the email, which I don't have on screen this time. I was kind of trying to get a new position for everything and make it just looked cluttered with the email on there, but it is cookiesenabled01@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook groups. I mean, we're literally crammed into almost everything right now, except for Snapchat, because why? Anyway, so I just want to say thank you to everybody, especially the new subscribers. Again, if there's anything you didn't like or you did like about this episode, let us know in the comments below. Shoot us an email with new ideas for main episodes, and check back this coming Monday for our main episode premieres. And then again, every 2 weeks after that, we're just going to be cranking out more episodes. So keep an eye out for those. If you guys have any special topics you want for main episodes or What's New Wednesdays, also drop them in the comments below and let us know. But I know I learned something new today, and I hope you guys did too. I want to say thank you again for everybody, and you all have a wonderful day. Thanks again, guys.